Okay. Well, I thought we could try to do this in little batches. And I thought the thing we could start talking about first would be kids. So, when do you think you began to think about yourself as even being a father? Did that happen when you were young, or where did it?
Yeah, I guess. I think Carol thought of becoming a mother long before I thought about becoming a father. Let's put it that way. 27 is when she had Catherine. So I'd say our mid to late 20s, we started discussing kids and where we wanted to live and what we wanted to do.
But growing up, did you have it as a boy?
No, it was like an aspiration to have a huge family, or I didn't think about those type of things, to be honest with you. Last thing from my mind, I was just thinking about having fun and getting through school, getting a job.
Do you remember? Taking anything out of your childhood that you experienced as a son that you thought to yourself, well, here's something that I'll tuck away for possible future use, or here's something I definitely don't want to be replicating? Any lessons that you sort of absorbed and tucked away as you were growing up?
There's lots of them. Now that I'm an adult and I think back to the things that I did, I definitely don't want Dan repeating. And I kind of know what to look for and what to do and what not to do, as a father. Like, don't fall asleep at 9:30 and tell me to be home at 10. And then I come home at 10 and my dad's sleeping. I just turn her back around and went right back out the door until 2 in the morning. And that's just up to no good. So there's a lot of things as I got older and had Catherine and had Dana that I've learned, and hopefully will exercise a little differently than my parents did. They were a lot older. My mom had me when she was 44. So, and I was the sixth. I was six kids. So I think they were kind of done by the time they had me. Just be careful. So we keep a much closer eye on what's going on with them in school. So yeah.
So how long were you and Carol together when you had Catherine? Approximately.
She was 27. We got together probably at age around 17. It's probably 10 years.
Okay.
8 to 10 years. We were dating. Got married at around 25 or 26. A year or two later, we planned to have kids. And along comes Catherine.
Much actual discussion about it, or just sort of natural?
I don't recall, to be honest with you. There wasn't. I don't think there was a whole lot of planning. Of we wanted to be born this month. We're gonna have this much money. We're gonna move to here. It was just, do you want to start raising a family? I think we both decided that the time was about right. And I think other friends at the time were having, beginning families, and I don't want to say it's a good time to jump on board, but I don't know. It just seemed like the right time. We were both working, making good money. We had a nice little place. It seemed like the right time. We were right down the street here on Fairview Road. We had a nice little house.
And so as you move toward that goal, and then remembering how you described yourself as not really thinking a whole lot about it, when did it start to become something you seriously started to focus on? Was it after Carol was pregnant with Catherine? Can you remember what that shift was like for you?
No, I can't say that I do. Not until she was born did I realize, hey, this is happening.
Yeah.
This is serious now. I This is real. It's not just stuff on paper or stuff that we're talking about. It's really happened. When she was born, and it was a big change in our lifestyle. Obviously, just like everybody else, And we adapted to it, and we both loved it.
Was there much of a transformation that had to go on in the house in preparation for Catherine?
Not really. Our lifestyle changed. I mean, we were out a lot with friends and socialized on a lot. A lot of that changed. But as far as preparing the household,
Just get some of the equipment in, and that was pretty much it?
Pretty much, but set up a baby's room. Baby-proof the place, and get the kids' room ready in a crib. And I remember going shopping over in Broomall, pulling teeth at a baby store, super baby store, for just baby stuff. Just like, oh god. But once Catherine was born, it was all worth it because she used it and loved it. And I forget the name of that place, but that's relevant. It was right over in the Broomall Industrial Park. In Broomall.
Do you remember?
It became a distinct reality. I remember that.
I'm sorry?
That's when it became a real reality. Like picking out linens that matched the baby's linens, and this crib matching that bureau, and just like, wow, this is.
How'd it feel? I could imagine a bunch of different possible reactions.
When she was born. It felt good though.
Do you remember her birth?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It was at Delaware County. Carol she was in the best of moods. She was watching TV, laughing. She was having the time of her life. And I was with her sister Daria, who stayed with us just recently. And she was she was in labor for 20 some hours. So I said, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go grab something to eat. And I was gonna grab Carol something while she could still eat. So the doctor said, go ahead, you have some time yet. And I guess they broke her water right before I left her, as I left. And then by the time I got back, she was like on the ceiling. Because she was in full blown giving birth at that point. That she was in a lot of pain. So needless to say, I wolfed down the chicken fingers from Delaware County Memorial's Finest, the cafe. Wolfed that stuff down, and it was a whole business from there. I remember that very well. And it was right around the time of 96, the storm we had. It was like 3 feet of snow. It was within a couple of days of that.
After.
Yes, during the whole time during the snowstorm, snow emergencies, you can't drive on the road. We were worried about that. We had 4-wheel drive. We had like a Explorer type truck. But we were both worried about her going into labor in this hospital. DCMH was still a good 20 minutes from where we lived. And with the snow emergency, it would take us a while to get there. Luckily, it stopped snowing, the roads cleared, we got there. But I remember going home just being overly paranoid. Like, be careful driving. I distinctly remember that. Getting off Drexel Ave.
How was the delivery? Pretty smooth? Uneventful?
Yeah, there was no complications. If I remember correctly, they stuck an epidural on her back, and they missed whatever nerve, whatever portion of the back they're supposed to hit, so she was still in a lot of pain. And then they did it again. That worked. And it went smooth from there, pretty much within the hour, maybe hour and a half. She had Catherine, and that was that. The worst part was they missed a nerve, and she was in a lot of pain for about 2 hours. It took probably 22 hours. We were in the hospital. It was a long birth. But we were happy just to make it there in time, and everybody's healthy. If I don't remember any complications, like heartbeat complications, or besides just no chance of C-sections, rushing into operating rooms, nothing like that. So it was real smooth on my end.
Your back was fine.
Right. It was January. I was hanging out watching football.
Do you remember any of the what it was like to have Catherine home in the first few days? I don't mean necessarily specific memories, although you may have those, but just I'm thinking back to Jennifer and just kind of looking down into the crib and those kinds of things. Do you have any images that have lingered from?
Vaguely. Nothing specific, just, wow, I can't believe we created this,
That's sweet.
That would probably be the most prominent memory. Wow. We were fortunate she's healthy. That was my big thing. I was real happy that she's healthy and just beautiful.
Did it catch you by surprise, the degree to which it sounds like it impacted you to have her home, and just sort of the whole wow thing? Were you surprised at your reaction? I don't know how, because you really hadn't, by your description, hadn't really thought about it a lot ahead of time, so...
I don't recall, John. I'll be honest with you. I recall being overwhelmed with having... I was nervous. Carol would go out. I had a beeper for work, and she'd go out, I'd make her take my beeper. Or she'd, I'd be like, Carol, take this. If I don't know what to do, answer the damn beeper and call me. We're going to get home more in a couple hours. New father, I don't know what I'm doing. And Kath, she wasn't fussy. But if she cried for more than 20 minutes, half hour, that beeper was going on. So, that I remember.
So, now, as time went by, did Carol just stop answering the beeper, or did you learn more about being...
Yeah, I just started figuring out what to do. As a father, I just figured it started coming naturally. But yeah, both. She stopped. She yelled at me for calling her every 20 minutes, and I got sick of getting yelled at, so I started figuring it out.
Yeah.
And once the second one comes along, it's like, oh yeah, just they'll stop. I'll feed them or just rock them or something. You can figure it out. But it took a while. It took probably 6 months. And I remember the first year and a half was hard because they can't talk or they just cry and you just can't figure out what to do.
Feed them or change them.
Yeah. And once I did that, and they still kept on crying, and teething comes along, it was a whole new experience, just like for every other parent.
Had you had a chance to see this up close at all in your family with other siblings who had kids, and you were able to kind of get an advance look at this?
No, my brother who lives in Wyoming had kids long before I did, 15 years, 18 years. But he was in Wyoming, so I didn't. We're a totally different generation gap. There was no advice, 2 blocks away, like, hey, what do I do? Come here, give me a hand, There was none of that. And my sister still to this day haven't had kids, and she's not going to. And now my other sister had just started having kids. She's about 4 years older than me. She has 3 girls. And I haven't gotten any phone calls from her saying what's the deal. Her not figures it out. But no, there wasn't much guidance there. I don't know, I can't speak for Carol. I know her sisters had kids. I think her sister Rita had children right before Catherine was born. I forget which way it was. I think Carol got pregnant first, and then Rita got pregnant immediately second. They're twins. And so I'm not sure how that went, but no, we didn't really have much backup. We were around and just figured it out as we went.
What kind of a child was Catherine in the early years? Any kinds of personality things or behavior things that kind of stuck out as you think back?
She was really happy. She was really easy. She was happy, easy to get along with. Wasn't picky. Wasn't real finicky. She was an easy baby. At least the way I recall it. Carol seems to think that Catherine was a little more difficult to feed, to just make happy. I find it the opposite, where Dana was more picky and finicky. But it's just, a matter of personal opinion. Daniel's more of a whiner, and he needed more attention than Catherine did. I remember just sitting with her, we could just sit and watch cartoons or just sit together and she'd be happy. So, those are some of the memories.
She was how old when Daniel came along?
Well, she's 13.
He's 9 now, is he?
9, so she was 4.
Okay. Do you think she had much of an idea as to what was coming?
No. Once he came along, we paid extra attention to her.
Mm-hmm.
Just to ease the transition. But we explained to her she's gonna have a little baby brother or sister. She was good about it. She accepted it. She didn't reject him or, give him a hard time in any way.
So I think sometimes daughters can, it can go sometimes a couple of different ways. Some jealousy and
I don't remember seeing much of that.
On the other hand, it can be like I think daughters can be like little mothers, and they can
Like
sort of
nurturing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what you saw more of.
I saw more of a nurturing side.
Sort of took him under her wing, kind of thing. They play together pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have their days.
Don't we all?
We just had them out the other day, and they played very well.
Mm-hmm.
We took them down to, Dave and Buster's down on Columbus Boulevard, and she really took him under his wing and showed him around, and just kept an eye on him.
It's a nice thing to see. Yeah. And as you then got your full family or complete family so far at least, how were you adjusting to all of that? More responsibility certainly, and more disruption in your life, but also lots of other good things I'm imagining.
Yeah, I slowed down a lot. With both the kids, but I love it.
Now, of course, they're 4 years apart. What kinds of things do you, just take it one at a time, what kinds of things do you see in Catherine in terms of, what are some adjectives that you would use to describe her, some of her major traits or personality characteristics?
She's strong-willed. It's an adjective or not, but
Yeah.
she's very strong-willed, very independent. She doesn't want help doing anything, even if it's cooking a waffle. I can do it. I don't want any help. I said, I know you can do it. You're more than capable. I know, but if I can help it, just let me make it. Let me do it. Just do what you're doing. Mind your own business. She's very independent, very strong-willed.
And what, besides that independence, is kind of self-starting, you didn't say self-starting, takes initiative, is that?
She's real strong-headed. If she won't come home and do anything but make sure her homework is done first, then comes, telephone time with girlfriends, TV time. She's set in her ways. She's kind of like me. She's real structured, and certain things, go a certain way. She comes through the door, she puts down her book bag, she starts her schoolwork. If she has homework to do, a lot of time it's already done at school, but if it's not, it's all business first, and then it's playtime.
Well, that sounds like not only structured, but responsible.
Very responsible. Yeah, she's starting to get to the age to where she wants to babysit, and which I believe in, that she's absolutely old enough and responsible enough to do for us, and especially for other people. Because I think it's easier for her to babysit for other people than it would be for her to babysit for Daniel here, because he doesn't respect her. He doesn't respect her authority. So Carol and I have been going back and forth about that. But she's wanting to get out and really take the world by the horns and just put up flyers to be, in the neighborhood to babysit. Just they're always flying around.
Well, it sounds like she has the entrepreneurial bug then.
Yep.
What about on the creative side? Does she have things that you see in her that are expressions of creativity? What does that kind of look like for her?
She's creative. She enjoys like liberal arts. It looks like she's just starting with this acting and singing and dancing, doing that type of thing affiliated with the schools. This is her first year of really getting into, expressing her interest in arts and, like I said, acting, and I hear her singing. We're just running around here. More so than ever. She's always real quiet. No, I just hear her singing and dancing. So she's far more independent this year.
Well, and to be...
That just comes with the age, I guess. 13, but she's independent, responsible, caring.
Well, it sounds, as I'm picturing what you're saying, it sounds also like a degree of free-spiritedness also.
Very responsible. Or Daniel's a free spirit with her. He'll just go, man. He'll not even think twice. What time it is, what the weather's like, what he's doing. He's free spirited. It's like, whatever, what the hell? Let's go. Where Catherine will say, wait a second, hold on. Let's think this through. Before we go run across the pond and it's ice, let's think about this. No. So she's free spirited, but she's very well thought out.
Right. The free spirit I was thinking of was just the feeling the freedom to go around the house singing. I mean, as an example, that kind of thing. That's not a lot of self-consciousness in that.
She's not happy.
What kinds of things, as you imagine her attributes and even the things she's identified as enjoying, how do you imagine that might play itself out in terms of interest not only in school but maybe beyond? What kinds of things do you see for her in her life as you think about her, either family or?
She wants to have a family.
Yeah.
Definitely. And she wants to pursue either something along the lines of nursing, pediatric nursing, or criminal science, like CSI stuff, which I'm trying to steer her away from. But she's pretty hard-headed about it. She's interested in it. She loves science. She likes math. She says there's two major components of those careers, or possibly veterinary school. She cares very much about other people and animals, So the other day the cat was up on the counter licking our dinner. our chicken. The chicken was sitting up on the counter over there, and I was like, what? Well, I turned aside the half an hour. I'm like, what the hell? Get that cat off the counter. I'm yelling just from sitting here. The cat's like, don't yell at the cat. I'll just get up and move her. I'm like, Catherine, we're gonna eat that. But she cares so much. She just comes up past her.
To what degree was she a part of Daniel's early kind of nurturing and cared for? I mean, she would have been pretty young when he was young, because she was 4 when he was born. But as she became 5, 6, 7, and he was 2, to what degree did she act in that sort of a nurturing role with him? Did she give him?
I mean, she gave him a lot of care, and she would never try and hurt him, or never beat on him, or chase him around. I don't want to say in a violent manner, but just
didn't torment him.
Nothing malicious whatsoever.
Yeah.
The boys are a little different with it. Try and trip you up. She She never did that kind of thing. She was very caring. Still is very caring. For Daniel.
I think some of that.
Which is nice to see.
It is nice to see. I think some of that is maybe, in a general way, more likely to happen with girls and boys who, because, boys can be a handful sometimes. Yeah. And as you watched Daniel go from infancy to early childhood here, what kinds of things do you notice about him? You use the term free spirit to him, just sort of see something and goes for it. So that's the way I interpret what you were saying. What other kinds of things do you notice about his personality?
He just wants to do it. He wants to be independent. Just as of lately, he'd come in and get changed. Where are you going? Out. Out where? I don't know. Am I going to the field? I'm going to Nick's. Am I going to Jake's? I don't know. I'm just going out. Alright. Can you give me an idea? 2 square blocks? A block? Where?
Atlantic City?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, so that's just been coming on recently. He'll be 10 in August. So he's, like I said, he's real free spirited, and he has a lot of people says he has like my sense of humor, just kind of twisted a little bit. He thinks outside the box, and we're proud of him. His grades are picking up, so he's doing well. He's definitely his own person. He doesn't. I don't think he follows anybody's traits. He's himself. He's his own personality.
Where do you see his sweet spots, if you know that term, where his concentration of his gifts and interests is? You mentioned Catherine, a number of disciplines that she is drawn toward.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had an opportunity yet to see some hints as to how Daniel may be, where his strengths are, either academically or relationally? Or, is it, are you getting any sense of what's showing up in his strong suits?
Probably not academically, as you said. There is another word you use. Like
relationally?
Yeah, he communicates real well, and he tells you just what he's thinking, and he lets you, there's no BS. It's just straightforward. This is what I feel. This is the way I feel it should be, and this is why. And he's just he shoots straight from the hip. He doesn't pull any punches, which is good. And if he's right, he'll tell you why he thinks he's right. And if he's wrong, then he'll tell you, okay, he'll back down and say, all right, makes sense. He's logical. He's more like I am than Catherine, where he thinks much more logically. So they're zing and zang. They're at opposite ends of the zone there. Both sweet, but just completely different. It's amazing. They can both come from the same gene pool.
Well, two gene pools, really. Yeah. Well, and speaking of that, when you're talking about how he can come home and throw his books in and then just take off, you described yourself as being at the tail end of your sibling line, and that your parents cared but didn't manage you. Mm-hmm. How much of what he is like were you like at his age? Were you the explorer and the...
I don't remember much from, I'd say probably 8 years, from my first 8 years. Once I got into 8th, 9th, 10th grade, mm-hmm. I started having, vivid memories of things, but not much as a young childhood. Of Because it was different where I lived. It wasn't this tight. There weren't that many kids to play with. Like he has probably 10 friends within 9 houses of here. So, but I do see a lot of me in him. I see a lot of me in him. A lot of times just not thinking before doing things, Or he'll just run and run and run and that. It'll be dark and raining, he'll still be one out to be playing, It's like, no, you can't. It's cold, it's raining, come on. Oh, just give me 5 or 10 more minutes. It's soaked and freezing. I'm just being a boy at that. There's a lot of me in Daniel. And I think there's more of Catherine and Carol and Catherine.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
Right over on Langford.
Okay.
About 3 miles from here.
And so, were you tight with a lot of? It sounds like you didn't have easy access to many
No.
kids your age.
No, I had a lot of good friends in school, but it wasn't. There was 3 or 4 kids within maybe a quarter mile. I could bicycle to their house, and then we'd bicycle wherever the hell we wanted. It was so much different. I mean, I'd leave the house at 9 in the morning, and I wouldn't come back until 7 o'clock at night. And I don't remember my parents saying, "Where were you? What did you eat for lunch? What were you guys doing?"
It's during the summer, I'm assuming you mean.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, of course, yeah. Or even in winter, we go sledding, just drag our sleds and go, or just be going all day doing whatever. It doesn't matter what time of year it was. Now, it's every half an hour I'm yelling at the door, "Where are you guys, Catherine or Daniel? What are you guys doing? What are you up to?" And then I see those friends now, still to this day. I say, "Man, do you remember our parents? We used to ride our bicycles to Marcus Hook, because there were girls that we met at the Springfield Mall, And Marcus Hook is a decent ride from Swatham or Wallingford. It's got to be 10 miles. A lot of busy roads, a lot of 4-lane intersections, just dangerous, It's so different. And I don't know if I'm just being overprotective or my folks were just tired after 6 kids saying, "Dad, let him do what he wants." Not many, not in that so many terms, just maybe just knew.
More relaxed in their parenting style.
Maybe they trusted that I was up to, not to the task, but I keep a lot closer eye on these guys than my parents did me.
Yeah.
I don't know it's a sign of the times either. You hear a lot more on the news now, just about this bad, much worse stuff. Hell, even with the computer, you gotta worry now. With the kids on the computer getting in trouble.
What have you done? What opportunities have you had recently? Either planned, kind of formal opportunities like vacations, or more spontaneous kinds of things that you can remember really enjoying yourself as a family with the kids? Anything that...
We went to Sedona, Arizona. We flew out to Vegas. That was the closest we could get to Arizona without having to drive from the United States. So we flew the kids, myself and Carol, to Vegas. We rented a car, went down to Sedona, got a hotel or motel, and we just toured around the mountains down there. And it's beautiful, beautiful scenery. And
It's 2008, right?
yeah, yeah. And just hiked. We took nice hikes. And saw a bald eagle. Went to some nice cafes for lunches, and the kids loved it. The year before that, I went to Florida. The kids at Disney. They loved that too. I think they enjoyed the hotel and the pool more than the rides and the attractions at the resort. So, but that was a fun memory. And this year, Carol and I were talking about trying to figure out what to do. If we could do anything. I mean, we used to go to the beach a lot, get a house down the beach for a week. We'd rent something on the bay.
Which beach?
Sayal City,
Okay.
Ocean City, Avalon, Stone Harbor. We had a boat, and we used to take the kids out boating and just water skiing. And I'd water ski, Carol drive. Kids would just take photographs or laugh at me crashing. Just that, those were good memories.
Did the kids have, or was, well, at least Catherine, was she old enough to try?
This past year was her first year.
How'd she do?
She got up on her second try, and she did amazing. Carol's sister, Colleen, her husband, like, I don't use my boat anymore, it's pretty old. It's been sitting down the marina for years, just covered up. It's pretty much right off at this point. But Van, Colleen's husband, has a nice ski nautique. So it's a ski boat, it's a lake boat. And we go down there 2 or 3 times a year, because nobody can drive the boat and drag Van around, except for pretty much me, because I have my boat. Excuse me for 1 second. Because he's an avid skier, and then I skied a little bit, and then his kids skied. This year, Catherine was apprehensive, but she put on the vest and jumped right in. The first time up, she kind of lost her balance, fell back on her butt, and just said, "Give me that rope, man." She tried again, got right up, and we drug her around for 2-3 minutes, which is quite a while.
Did she get outside the wake?
Yeah. And then she just was like, she got tired, her arms got tired, her back was tired. But I was really proud. I said, "Davey, I love your second try." Nice big fat kid skis. She did really well. And then that was 2007. And 2008, I believe it was 2007. 2006, 2007. We did it again. She got right back up. Loved it. They like the tube. We have an inflatable tube. They like getting tossed around that thing quite a bit.
Towed or not?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hook it to the back of the boat and you just toss them on and they love it. But those were many fun vacation memories. We used to go with friends too. Take my boat down to Sea Isle. We'd rent a house for a week right on the bay, pull right into the house, jump off, rent off the skis in the boat, and have dinner and drinks and go back out for just nice and slow, just idling by the homes on the back bay waters and the kids playing. That was fun. That was a lot of it.
Did you ever do the night in Venice?
No, I always wanted to, but I never had the opportunity. I never got to do it. I'd even just like to get out and watch it. And not necessarily even participate, but I'd like to get out and just watch it. I heard it's fun. Through Ocean City, I think. I don't know if does it go from Ocean City all the way down to Cape May, or do you know?
No, I don't think so. I think it's basically inside the bay right there by Ocean City.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think it goes more than a mile or 2.
And they've changed the timing of it, probably because of alcohol-related incidents, both on the boats and off the boats. They moved it earlier
in the day.
So it's not quite as picturesque as it, because it used to be the lights were a big part of it.
7, 8 o'clock at night, or 8, 9 o'clock.
8, 9 o'clock even, yeah. So it's different, but it's still fun.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to go down and see it this year, without a doubt. There's something to say, something to saw.
Yeah. So when was Daniel watching Catherine as she was making her water skiing debut?
Yeah, he was with us. He had no interest. And that surprises me. Catherine would get on roller coasters and make me go, "Oh, I'm not so sure about that." And she's just like, "Let's go." She's very outgoing, which is surprising to me. Like, there's this thing in Wildwood where they stick in this, it's like a ball, steel ball, and they pull it back on these huge, almost like rubber bands, and they just let you go. And you go flying, and they do circles, and you flapping down. She's been wanting to do it, and I told her I'd do it with her this year, but Carol was just like, "No, you're not putting my kid down." And Daniel shows no interest. Same way I had street motorcycles for years. I'd strap a helmet on Catherine, and we'd just go up through the columns, and she'd be like, "Go faster, go faster, go faster." I'm like, "No." And meantime, Daniel's just like, slow down, take it easy. Or he'll get on his motorcycle and just rip around through those fields we just walked through at the high school. To move across field, he'll just rip around, but she's very outgoing when it comes to water skiing or tubing where Daniel was like, I don't want any part of that. Just I'll watch myself.
Oh wait, did you say that Daniel has a
Yeah.
motorized? Okay. And so when he's on that, he's more.
He's full throttle. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he's under his own control, when he's got his hand on the gas or brake, he's fast. Whereas Catherine never got that opportunity. She rode it a couple times, but she didn't take to it like he did. And now that he broke his arm on his bicycle, I'll see this year how much he wants to ride it. That'd be interesting. But he's not as, which really surprises me. He's very apprehensive, and she's much more outgoing when it comes to water sports or I don't want to say X Games stuff. She's just much more. You want to go mountain climbing? She'll go rock climbing with him. Her dad will be like, no way. I'll just stay here. I'll just wait till you get down. And I'm surprised. I figured it'd be the other way around, but they surprise you. When we were in Arizona, there was a place called Slide Rock, and Catherine was she crossed over this. It was more of a creek where you could slide down these rocks, and they're full of like slime, and they're flat rocks. So it's kind of like a natural water slide. It was real pretty. And she got across, and she went up a good 30, 40 feet in her bare feet or flip-flops, up in just climbing and walking along. They're dry. The rocks up on the cliff were dry. And a friend of ours, my brother's, was on the other side he was over there already with his girlfriend, just taking pictures. And he heard us yelling for Catherine, like, get down. If you tumble and you slide down those rocks into the water, you're going to get hurt. So he's trying to follow her and catch a hold of her. He got stuck. He couldn't keep up with her. And she was probably only 9 at the time. This a couple years ago. But she worried me to death. And Carol were both like, our hearts sank. I'm like, oh my goodness, if she slips, she's just going to get rash, like road rash from sliding down these rocks. And the water wasn't very deep. So it was like then I started getting worried, like, wow, she's really outgoing.
Do you think she was aware of the
danger?
Yeah.
No, I don't think she realized how much it would hurt her if she slipped and fell. But she knew when she got down. I filled her in real quick. Because there could have been problems. But yeah, Daniel wouldn't even think of trying that kind of stuff, which is strange.
It's sometimes a hard balance between wanting to be a responsible parent and guide kids and warn kids and that kind of stuff, without creating unnecessary fear and then excessive caution and at its worst paranoia, because you don't want to kill that independent spirit.
Right. You gotta let them find out on their own some way.
Well, within limits, so they can survive it.
Exactly.
That's the ideal.
Right, without spending the weekend in the hospital. Yeah. Praise them both.
Anything else about your kids? Just in a general free association kind of stuff that comes to your mind when you think about your kids, either individually or.
I love them both. Try and treat them both equally. It's hard. One being a boy, one being a girl. 4 years apart. That's two different worlds. But yeah, just love them both to death. Hope they make right choices in life. So I hope Carol helps guide them through their choices. She's a little more relaxed with them than I am. I feel
Really?
Yeah, which is odd. I'm far more strict with the kids than Carol is when it comes to just setting limits, I should say. And like you said, let them be free spirits. Maybe it's just my own upbringing, getting hurt and getting in trouble. I just don't want to see them taking the same path.
It was Carol's. I mean, without telling her story for her, but it was her upbringing different from yours, and do you think
A
she
little more
learned?
strict, I believe. And yeah, her mom worked a lot. Her dad worked for Boeing a lot. But her parents were a little more strict. Had a little tighter reins on Rita and her. They're twins. Yeah. Well, my parents worked, but didn't keep a real tight rein on me what I was doing. Like I explained before, we rode our bicycles for 10 miles and they had no idea. So, yeah, God bless them both. They're good kids.
How's your energy level? Because we could talk a little bit about, meeting Carol, that kind of stuff, or we can do that another time.
We do that on the next.
Okay.